speak. Good afternoon and namaskar. I know that in the afternoon keeping awake is not easy, but and after listening to two stalwarts like Dr. Saraswat and Sitaramanji, it's very difficult to listen to some other speakers who are after that. Respected dignitaries, fellow educators, young leaders, ladies and gentlemen, I wish and I feel that it is a great honor to address such a distinguished audience and the dignitaries on the dais, where we have assembled here to talk about World Youth Skill Day, now making its 10th anniversary. It was established in 2014 by the General Assembly of United Nations, and this year official global theme is adopted by UNESCO and UN partners, which is youth empowerment adopted by through artificial intelligence and digital skills, emphasizing the urgent need to equip young people with future-ready competencies in the AI-rich world. We often say that youth are the future, but let me put it differently. Youth are the present force shaping the future. The kind of world we will live in tomorrow depends directly on how we engage our young people today, not only through education, but through relevant, applied and value-driven skills. Youth are the innovators, youth are change makers and digital architect of today. I would like to share something from my own journey. A few years ago, exactly in 2009, I was invited to address a group of brilliant students at Banaras Hindu University. As I stood in that hall, looking into a sea of eager faces, I asked them a question. Will all the knowledge you are acquiring here in the classroom, have you stepped out to transform the issues facing Banaras city? Have your skill touched the lanes beyond the campus and the community struggling the real problems? I'm sorry to say that there was a big silence in the whole hall. And then there was a reflection. It was not a criticism, it was an invitation, because I believe that purpose of education is not simply to inform, but to transform. You today are not seeking passive role. They want to participate meaningfully. They want to build. They want to belong to something larger than themselves. But for that, we must create ecosystem that allow them to apply what they learn, not just a theory, but on the ground. And that's why I gave a slogan in 2012 when I was organizing Asia Pacific countries in Amman, Jordan. I said, youth is not nuisance, youth is not the problem, youth is energy, youth is positive, and I gave the slogan, build the youth, build the nation. This is where skill comes into play, not as an addition, but as an essential part of education. If we are serious about shaping a peaceful and developed India, the skill building must move from margin to the mainstream. We need classrooms that nurture critical thinking and creativity alongside technical knowledge, and we need institutions that work in close cooperation with industry, so students graduate not just with degrees, but with the readiness to respond to real world demands. And that's why I really appreciate Amrita University by Amma, who talks about living labs. They send the students at least 3 to 6 months to a village which they select, And the students have to solve the problems with the resources of that village, in that village, living with the village people. That is the real education, that the student will know the problems and difficulty of those villages, and they will educate the people also how to address their own problems, not depending for everything to the government. Over the last decade, India has made considerable investment in youth skilling. Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana, our flagship national scheme, has trained over 1.3 crores youth across the country as of April 2025. That number rose to over 1.63 crores. It has introduced certification for prior learning, short-term courses, training partners in both urban and rural areas. This reach is impressive, but we must recognize a troubling gap. Placement rates remain low, often below 25% across Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana phases. Evaluative students show persistent misalignment between training and industry needs, outdated infrastructure, and insufficient post-training support. I think then India learned a lesson. After when Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana, I will say, almost failed. Money was given to all the states and Kaushal Vikas Yojana failed in a way. Because there was no connection between the training, demand and the employment. And then when Pradhan Mantri went to Germany, signed an agreement with Angela Merkel, and he realized what is the dual vocational training, which is very popular in all over the Europe, and that was invented by Germany long before. Dual vocational training is nothing different than our training, which we were talking about Kaushal Vikas Yojana, which was only at the government level. There was a policy that any young person will get training, he will be absorbed by the private sector. That is a policy in Germany and the Europe also, and that is training and demand driven. Not that you are giving training without knowing what type of demand is required. So when they give the training, it comes a demand from the industry, and then they give the training. Not to giving training of fitters, electrician, plumber and carpenter without knowing how many carpenters are required in 10 years' time, how many electricians are required. And that's why we have the big problem. Training should be on demand driven, and that and policies should be at the government level to absorb the students who are getting training by any private sector and public sector company. So there are many initiatives: Sankalpa, Strive, Skill India, Digital Future Skill Prime, and the Employment Link initiative schemes aim to address these weak points, especially in digital readiness and quality enhancement. Yet their success depends on real inclusion, which Professor Saraswat was also mentioning about our new education policy, which was already 5 years before was adopted, but implementation, where is implementation? We have G20 also very successful. There is a consensus report. Where is the report now? Where is implementation of that report, which talks about everything about education, how to do business, how to do politics, how to go for sports, even harnessing the ocean resources. Where is that report? We people, intellectuals of this country, if we want to see Viksit Bharat by 2047, we should ask where is that report and how to implement that one. It is not only government, it is our responsibility also. Billions was spent on that G20 success of that summit. But after that summit, we have forgotten that report. Implementation is the problem. And unless you implement, nothing will change. So I say these critics not to diminish accomplishment, but to bring urgency. If we do not question, scale with depth, digital without access, empowerment without ethics, we risk building a too-tired skilling ecosystem. Ethics is very important when we are skilling. But here is what we must step beyond applause and intercritical engagement. Despite these investments, several challenges persist. For instance, the recent Parak report reveals that less than 30% of the students in secondary school participate in vocational training, and only 47% of school even offer such courses. This raises an important question: why is the outreach still is so limited? Are our schemes well publicized, well implemented, and actually relevant to the grassroots level? Most importantly, there is no counseling from the school to the university level. We should have with skilling the counseling also. Skilling should also be based on ethics and values. Moreover, much of our skilling still happens in silos. Dispatched from mainstream education, isolated from industry demand, and rarely aligned with the aspirations of today's youth. In many ITI and polytechnic students continue to train on outdated machines, learning skills that may no longer hold strong value in the current job market. What is the real-time feedback loop between education providers and the employers? Even the push for digital skilling as part of the India AI mission and Skill India Digital, while commendable is risk leaving behind these. Without digital infrastructure and access, essentially in rural and marginalized area, are we building digital bridges or deepening digital divides? Everything, whatever you say about India is true. The way Shashi Tharoor has said one time, everything is true. India is rising, India becoming third largest economy. But what about the 7,60,000 villages? Are we making them also same level? Are we dividing India between urban and rural? Between the highly skilled youth and with no knowledge? So I can see that before I get the yellow card, I should just very close it. Everything is true about India, the way Shashi Tharoor said. I want to see that no one should be left behind. That is the slogan of Sustainable Development Goals. And unless we take everybody together, 1.45 billion people, population will remain where they are. We have to take everybody, no one should be left behind. And I would like to say simply that whatever the Secretary has said about today's, the Antoine Guterres has said, I would like to conclude with a statement of UN Secretary General. As AI reshapes our world, young people must be seen not just as learners, but as creators of a fairer digital future. Youth want participation. Youth want to take the leadership role. Youth want to have a meaningful decision-making process role. And if you say that youth are just the future, for the future, I don't think youth are certified. We are sitting on the time bomb if we don't address the youth student problem. Saying that 650 million population is young, and the way Professor Sharma mentioned, we are sitting on time bomb. If we don't address lip service will not help, and time has come, we have to be serious about our youth in India. When we are talking about skilling youth, today the World Skilling Day, I think we should take a Sankalpa today, and Delhi Declaration will help how we can follow and guide the government, other NGOs and CBOs to see that they should take care of our youth seriously. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Doctor. Thank you so much, Dr. Markandeya Rai ji. You have given us a wake-up call, but rest assured, India is no longer what it was. It is today a country that is delivering the promise with great certainty, conviction and commitment, and the days ahead are such that no one would be able to be spared. We all have to pull our socks and ensure that we work with integrity, honesty, truthfulness, and with the righteous conduct, utilizing our fullest of the potential to deliver the promise that is there on our shoulders. And therefore, India of tomorrow would be very different, I can assure you, and we all understand this. Only thing is, are we committed and to ensure that we create the India of our own dream and contribute effectively toward that. Ladies and gentlemen, the theme of this particular day today is revolving around the AI and digital skills. And no one other than Dr. Suvi Chaturvedi, who is the global senior vice president of the first unicorn of India, what they call it, InMovie, whose presence today is in 26 countries around the world.